What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. Power line today is kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg. I'm joined today with Billy Keels. How you doing today, Billy?
Dan, what's up, man? I am loving it. Loved the conversation earlier, and love your energy, man.
Awesome. So for those of you in the audience who have never seen a Chance Encounter before, maybe you know Billy and you don't know me, what I do is I interview commercial real estate investors, but it's a super condensed format. I really quickly go through the 5 different motivations I've found for wanting part of your next commercial deal. Then I go through the 6 different roles in a commercial deal and I say, hey, which one's your core competency? And then that way we end up wrapping it up real quickly. But one of the most important things, as far as I'm concerned, to be successful in any area at all, including real estate, is you have to be able to effectively introduce yourself. And Billy, you have a podcast. That's why you got like the great background, the great sound. And I always love it when that happens. But can you please introduce yourself for the audience real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a guy from the Midwest who got lost about 20 years ago on a 1-year sabbatical. I've been to 3 different countries between France, Italy, and most recently Spain. Father of 2, which I absolutely love, happy husband, and a guy who also is working in a corporate role and also enjoys the benefits that investing in direct companies and real estate can provide for myself and for others.
Excellent.
That's kind of the Reader's Digest version, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, sure. And this show's really about you, so we'll get lots of more details here. So I've got my first segment all set up here, and with the 5 different motivations here, I've got the roles down there. But sometimes beginners, they don't know what role they'll play, but at least they'll know their motivation. So the first motivation I found is some people, they need to preserve their purchasing power. If they are the types that they already have a substantial amount of wealth, that has to be the name of the game, because that's how they support themselves. It's not through work, it's through having assets that provide them cash flow. So their main incentive is to avoid inflation taking a huge bite out of their nest egg. The second reason is my one, which is I, as a tech guy, I'm a high earner in salary, but if I want to invest from that salary, there's an intermediate step of income tax. So it hit me that, hey, why don't I actually get into the GP teams and actually take part of this? So I'm trading my time for wealth instead of for income, and then tax, and then wealth. The next one is the most common reason, which is fast tracking retirement. And there's something that's implied in that. There are 2 things that are implied. One is that you've somewhat already started in your retirement process. Like everybody's hoping to retire in some degree, but this one should mean that you're more than just getting started. But the thing that's more important is that there's a finish line implied with this. There's a point where you're going to be like, okay, well, this is enough, and now I'm going to live my own life separate from dealing with assets or day-to-day work. And that brings me to the next group, which is the super ambitious ones, the ones that will not have an end in sight. They are so ambitious, they want to buy their entire hometown. They got to have the biggest yacht in the pier or whatever. Some may say that they have a little itty bitty, but basically that ambition has no end, and I just like saying that because I got the little beep doohickey. But the nice thing about having somebody like that in your team to build your portfolio is that they're not going to quit as soon as they become an accredited investor. But that brings me to the last motivation, which is some people have a sector of society that they really want to support, and they probably realize that accumulating wealth is one of the best vehicles to make a difference, so that you actually have something to donate to people who are less fortunate or need some help, or maybe it's animals or something like that. But those are the 5 different motivations that I've found. And what combination of those, or which resonate with you the most, Billy?
Yeah, you know what? Then there are two of them, and actually, the first one was the concept of retirement, and so it makes me think of I was speaking to someone not long ago, or maybe I was watching something or interacting with someone, and they said, I want to be able to create the type of lifestyle that I never need to take a retirement from, or I never need to retire from, or take a vacation from. So that one resonated with me, and that's something that I'm also helping others to do, is that they can create the lifestyle that they don't want to ever retire from. But the one that I feel the one that resonated the most is really trading time for wealth. Because I myself am also a very high wage earner working in the IT sector, and I enjoy it, right? And at the same time, I've been able to help other people and recognize myself by changing a couple of kind of like turning the knob a little bit. You're able to really be able to use and figure out how to use your time, and you can create wealth for yourself and whatever that means for you. So that's really where I'm focused and focused on helping others to be able to do that exact same thing.
Excellent, excellent. So that brings me to the next segment, which is the 6 different roles. So usually I introduce first the repositioner, because they have to look at a whole whack of different properties and they have to find out which ones have upside. The way you do that is by underwriting. So the acquisitions and the underwriting, that's all part of the repositioner side. And how do you, if for you in the audience who maybe you don't have any experience in real estate, how do you find upside? Well, there is a couple ways. First is through more efficient operations. You can see the Benjamin going down the toilet, and that's because every time somebody flushes, it costs money. That's an example of something that you can do to cut the cost, and it changes the valuation and therefore the appreciation big time. But the other reason why I got the Benjamins going down the toilet is to show that the money side is a very important part of the operating team, including the marketing side, which some people wouldn't think of, because you have to have somebody who will be good at keeping the vacancy rate really, really low. But we are now in the hottest real estate market in history, so efficient operations usually won't cut it. So the way that a lot of people fix that up is they get a contracting team and they make the place nicer so they can increase the rents. And if they're smart, they make sure that they don't get the operations team to try and do it, because nothing will be square. It'll be really, really bad. But there's another problem. Me personally, I'm remote based. You're also remote based. And so we need boots on the ground. We need a local. We need somebody who can be there in an hour or something. Because I don't know about you, I don't even want to have to find my passport in an hour, no less actually be there in an hour. So that's more or less the day-to-day team. But when the repositioner finds a property that's a good fit, they need to go to a financier, in other words, the bank, and say, hey, because I want to buy this building, which is tens of millions of dollars or something like that, I'm going to need to borrow tens of millions of dollars from you to make that happen. And so they're going to say, okay, so here's the property. Okay, you underwrite that. That's all cool. This is your team. All right. But who's your sponsor? And if you're a newbie, you'll be like, who's your what now? And your sponsor, or KP, is the person who already owns a similar asset. And that's the only way that you'll be eligible for the loan. You have to have somebody who already has a similar asset. So if you want to buy a 350 unit apartment complex, somebody already has to have about 350 units in an apartment complex. The other thing that you need is a balance sheet where it's at least the value of the loan. So those are the 6 different pieces of the puzzle. And of those, Billy, what's your core competency, or what's the role that you'd be most likely to play in your next role? Your next deal?
So I'll tell you, and I am someone who's a recovering perfectionist, a student. And so when you turn each one of those, it kind of like, oh my gosh, I used to want to do that. Oh my gosh, I used to want to do that. Oh my gosh, I did that for a while. And then absolutely was not the best thing for me to be doing, because when you're a recovering perfectionist and then a student, you want to try to do everything all the time. And I guess having led teams across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and also being able to recruit the right talent, let them do what they do best, as I take a lot of the transferable skills from my corporate world and am now using them in the real estate world, or real asset world, I like to call it, without a doubt, it's the KP and the sponsor, because I'm very good at selecting talent, making sure that the right talent, the financier is there, and making sure that the operations person is there, someone who really likes all the operations kind of stuff, being able to find the legal team that can speak the legal and all of those types of things, and also having frequently worked with accredited investors and doing a lot of doing more and more raises. The KP and the sponsor is the area without a doubt where I see myself, and I am actually helping others in that capacity today.
Excellent, excellent. So you covered the capital raising side. You know, that's also some of the part that some financiers do. Of course, they also have rules saying that you have to have, if you're on the GB team, you can't just be a capital raiser in
Correct.
America. You have to have like some sort of secondary skill to come in there.
Yep.
But that brings me to the next question, which is everybody, like, because you mentioned the different like facets, the different sides, the different skills that are in there, you have to become more or less competent in each of them, at least at telling is like, okay, is this person legit? Are they going to be a good person? So without breaking any SEC rules, and I understand that you might have some 506 raises that are ongoing. I don't know personally, but it's legal to entice investors on a 506C, but only the accredited investors. But other than that, trying not to entice investors for SEC reasons. Can you please describe the person in real estate where you think you can help them more than any other type of real estate person?
Yeah, sure, Dan. And I love the way you break that down, right? And so the way that we have gone to market, or the way that we bring investors closer to us, is through 506C. So, and the people that we're typically helping, that we're best suited to help, are those people who are high wage earners. And so they are accredited investors. So they're earning over $200,000 a year or $300,000 as a household, or they maybe have taken some new tests and things like that. Go look up the accredited investors and what that means. But typically the person is having lots of income, typically earned income, so active income. They're looking for a way not only to help to mitigate their responsibilities, saying, hey, listen, I really like my job. I continue to do my job. I'm very good at it. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm an IT sales exec. At the same time, I also want to make sure that if there's any way possible for me to right size my tax obligation, I want to be able to do that. And I also like to be able to create cash flow, because that cash flow allows me to continue to go into my job every single day because I like it, not because I like wearing this ball and chain around my neck that says I have to go into the place. And it's the person who's looking to create new options for themselves, for their families, and they want to continue to be happy, creating options, creating the lifestyle that their families really want to live. So, and typically those people have been accredited investors. So hopefully that answers your question. And then whether they do that through a mobile home park or through energy equipment or through other kinds of stuff, if we can help them, then those are the people that we are best suited to help.
Excellent, excellent. And you and I met through some meetups. I found those through LinkedIn. Is
Yep.
LinkedIn the best way to reach out to you, or do you have a website that's better, or what is that?
Well, so there's kind of two things. There's, if you want to, and like Dan, I know we've connected a lot on LinkedIn. Definitely you can go there. Billy Keels. I'm the only Billy Keels who works for a big multinational and has my own company and lives in Barcelona, Spain, I think. So you can go there. You can connect. One thing that I always ask is, like, if you're watching and listening to Dan and I, just make sure that you let me know, hey, listen, saw you and Dan having a chat and wanted to continue the conversation, or I thought it was really cool, just to give me reference. And then also so I can go back to Dan and be like, hey, listen, Dan, it was really awesome. Actually connected with 3 new people. Really appreciate you and the things that you're doing. That's one way. The other way I would say is for people, I live in Barcelona, Spain. I invest exclusively in the United States. And so there are a lot of headaches that have tended to come up for me when investing long distance. And I do have a PDF that can help people to avoid the 7 major mistakes that you'll make. And you can go to billykeels.com/7 mistakes to avoid.
All right, awesome, awesome. And there's one more thing that I have, which is for the audience there, which is, if you notice down below my left hand here, somewhere on the screen, you'll probably see a red button. It says subscribe. And because it's red, that's bad. If you click on it, it'll turn gray, and that's good. And the reason it's good is because that means YouTube pays for these videos instead of me. That's a lot better. So please do that. All it actually means is that if you go into the YouTube app or whatever, you might see my videos on your list of suggestions. There's no guarantee about that at all, but it does definitely, that is the number one thing you can do to help out. If you don't know me, I'm Dan Fredenberg. My background is in e-commerce technology and mass marketing. So that's lead generation, that's lead capture, and that's online sales funnels. And then in a co-GP situation, I'm helping with streamlining the acquisition side and the automation of operations. And through this, like, there's a little bit of capital raising, peppered in there as well. But I'm Dan Fredenberg. Billy, it's been fantastic talking to you today. We'll have to collab again soon.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Dan. Keep up the awesome work, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.